Welcome to Tzuchi This Week. I'm Wendy Chen. It's good to have you with us. In this week's headlines, continuing on the topic of the Buddha Day ceremonies, we joined Tzuchi volunteers and 10,000 participants at Tzuchi's Tri-Celebration in Singapore. Fewer in numbers, but Tzuchi volunteers in the countries of Paraguay and Dominican Republic overcome the language barrier and background difference to hold the Buddha Day ceremony. And volunteers in both Paris and London each held a Buddha Day ceremony, but in London they put on a section of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents to inspire their participants. We began today's program in Malaysia. In the early morning of the Buddha Day ceremony in Penang, heavy rain flooded the field at Hanjan High School, where the celebration was to be held. Volunteers quickly mobilized to drain the field, using pumps and plastic bottles as cups. Thankfully, the venue dried up in time for 8,640 participants to share in the joy of the Buddha's birthday.
The 2-hour Buddha Day ceremony in Penang, Malaysia featured 6 Bodhi leaf formations. Government officials and Dharma masters were present at the stately ceremony taking place at Hanjiang High School.
I saw so many people revering the Buddha and harboring a strong desire to pursue his teachings. It's a joy that comes from deep within.
The soft glow of the lapis lazuli Buddha statues is a guiding light for participants in the serene darkness. Volunteer Zhou Yunchang has a painful growth on her back, but she went through with the entire ceremony.
On the first day, my job was holding the perfumed water. I'd asked my tumor to be good for the ceremony and not give me any pain. I took some medication just now because this is my dream.
People from different cultural backgrounds came together at the Buddha Day ceremony. One Indian-Malaysian woman used the opportunity to pray for her mother.
If let's say I buy a gift or anything for her, the one is not going to be last long. That you all offering the prayers on Mother's Day. As long as she is with us, I want her to be healthy and be a very loving mother.
On the day of the ceremony, a heavy shower drenched the venue in the early hours.
I'm afraid that all the volunteers' efforts would go down the drain. So at around 7 or 8 a.m., I came to the school and found that half of the field was flooded.
With a rented pump and some empty plastic bottles, volunteers roll up their sleeves and start draining the venue.
I hope we can get through the ceremony without any glitches. The sun is out, so I think it will go well.
Thankfully, the volunteers' prayers have been heard, and the commemoration was nothing short of a success.
On May 13th, Singapore Tzuchi volunteers celebrated the Tri-Celebration of Buddha Day, Mother's Day and Tzuchi Day. The events took place at Yio Chu Kang Stadium and was joined by approximately 10,000 people, including Singapore's Deputy Prime Minister Teo Chee Hean, religious leaders and 103 Dharma masters. Everyone sincerely prayed together in hopes of purifying their minds and bringing peace to society.
The Tzuchi Buddha Day ceremony in Singapore is opened by Dharma masters. Next, 1,978 volunteers come together to form the patterns of Bodhi leaves and the number 46 that represents how old the foundation is. To recognize the good work Tzuchi has been doing, Singapore's Deputy Prime Minister Teo Chee Hean also joins the celebration with other government officials.
Tzuchi has been promoting trust and understanding between religions. It has also strengthened the bonding of our society. So Tzuchi is truly worthy of recognition.
Well, I know that Tzuchi has done good work in a number of different areas, including for help people who are in need, especially in natural disasters. And also Tzuchi has done good work in environmental protection and recycling. I would like to congratulate Tzuchi for the good work that they've done.
Now, invite our religious representatives to lead us in our silent prayer.
Regardless of faith or race, the Buddha Day ceremony was joined by 9 different religious representatives. Everyone comes together and pray for a world of harmony and peace.
And the world cannot explain really how we feel when we are all together, all the religion united as one person for just only peace and to everybody.
What I was very impressed about was the discipline and even in the movement of the devotees. And I feel that it expresses a lot the harmony, that the heart desire is expressed very openly.
Last year's Tzuchi Buddha Day was a success. This year's event is fully supported by the Buddhist community in Singapore. This time, the ceremony is led by 103 Buddhist leaders and masters.
The Buddhist community is very proud of Tzuchi. From a Buddhist point of view, there are no differences between religions. Through its missions, Tzuchi has been spreading Buddhist teachings far and wide.
At the majestic ceremony, 9,000 people become as one and sincerely pray for a world of harmony and peace.
Moving to Thailand, a Buddha Day ceremony was recently held in King Rama IX Royal Park in Bangkok. There were over 500 participants joining the ceremony. Tzuchi volunteers arranged the ceremony as well as a display area so local residents could get to know more about Tzuchi.
A Buddha Day ceremony was recently held in King Rama IX Royal Park, Bangkok. This was also a day for Tzuchi volunteers to meet for a reunion. In addition to local volunteers, scholarship recipients and flood victims from last year also took part in the ceremony.
I'm glad to join this reunion of Tzuchi members. This is a rare occasion, really special. This is a reunion of the big family.
Every time I come here, I feel so inspired. I think that with the Buddha leading us, there will be no more disasters in the world. We will feel calmer.
Wasana is a Tzuchi care recipient who joined a ceremony with her wheelchair-bound daughter. She said her daughter usually cries out loud whenever she takes her out, but today she is quiet and calm.
I'm glad that I can join the ceremony. My daughter is well behaved today. Maybe she knows that we are joining the ceremony of Buddha.
Last year, Tzuchi volunteers provided aid to flood victims in Pampla Township, Ayutthaya. The township officer also invited local residents to join the ceremony today.
I was very moved by the ceremony. I feel that my mind has been purified at the solemn ceremony. We should learn to provide more help to those who are in need.
Although the Buddha bathing ceremony takes less than 1 minute, minds are all purified by the simple yet solemn ceremony.
Tin Shui Wai is a city in Hong Kong where many low-income, unemployed and new immigrants families live. It is also an area known for its high social issues such as suicide and discrimination. To help bring peace and harmony to the community, Tzuchi volunteers held a Buddha Day ceremony and invited residents to participate. Hong Kong's Tin Shui Wai is where many low-income, unemployed families and new immigrants live. Tzuchi volunteers are holding a Buddha Day ceremony here.
At first, I thought we were going to burn incense sticks, but we didn't. This makes me feel calm.
It will be great if this opens every day. That way I won't have to take public transport.
Many residents arrive to take part in the ceremony in hopes of cleansing their mind and pay respect to the Enlightened One. Despite the drizzling rain on the day, volunteers sincerely continued with the rehearsal. The rain stops right before the ceremony begins and allowed the events to go on smoothly. Last Sunday, Tzuchi volunteers from various parts of the world held the Buddha Day ceremonies in the local chapters. In Sri Lanka, 7 volunteers from Singapore arrived to help their counterparts prepare for the 2 ceremonies that were held in Hambantota and Colombo. Here at the Hambantota Tzuchi office in Sri Lanka, Singapore Tzuchi volunteers have arrived to help their counterparts prepare for the Buddha Day events. Local volunteers have chosen to use white frangipani as the flower for the ceremony. Nearly 100 residents and volunteers prayed together for a world of harmony and peace.
When my hands touch the water, I imagine the Buddha right in front of me, and that moves me deeply. I pray for world peace and that everyone be purified from their past mistakes.
Badai village resident, who is normally too busy with work to take part in Tzuchi activities, vows on this day to walk Tzuchi's Bodhisattva path to help those in need.
There is good and evil in this world. The Buddha has taught us to walk the right path. I want to walk the path shown to us by the Buddha.
Apart from the celebration at the Hambantota office, Tzuchi volunteers in the Colombo branch also held a simple ceremony for the Buddha Day, where everyone came together in gratitude of the Buddha, parents and all living beings. Buddhism is not a popular religion in South America, but Tzuchi volunteers still held a Buddha Day ceremony in Bolivia and Paraguay. Regardless of the religious differences, many local residents joined the ceremony to show their support of Tzuchi. Let's take a look.
In Bolivia, Tzuchi's Buddha Day ceremony was held in a temple. Volunteers prepared for the small-scale ceremony with sincerity and respect. Just before the ceremony, it rained unexpectedly, as if to cleanse the land beforehand. The light shower refreshed everyone's mind. The ceremony was performed in the same way as in Taiwan. Local residents joining the ceremony also followed along with the rituals.
Be gracious for the peace we had in the past, faced with natural disasters that grow harsher than ever. Only Dharma can warm our hearts and help us repent.
Spanish translation helped the ceremony proceed smoothly. The platform is small and yet solemn. The volunteers bathed the Buddha before the local residents for them to follow. Despite religious divides, everyone was praying with hands together to show their respect for Buddha. The temple was not very spacious. Everyone walked in lines to pay respect for Buddha. There is no religious boundary anymore. In Paraguay, the Buddha Day ceremony was held in a commercial site. A lot of local residents showed up at the ceremony. South America is far from Taiwan, but the volunteers overcame the difficulties to hold the ceremony just the same.
This year, Tzuchi's Buddha Day ceremony in Asunción City of Paraguay, volunteers were joined by local residents. Despite the differences in language and faith, everyone came together and prayed for a world free from disasters. Meanwhile, in the Dominican Republic, the Buddha Day ceremony was also attended by many overseas Chinese residents.
The Tzuchi chapter in the Dominican Republic recently held their Buddha Day ceremony. For many, this is their first time participating in the event. Through a volunteer's explanation, participants understand the meaning behind the event.
Through the ceremony, we cleansed our hearts and become a better person. At the same time, we witnessed the Dharma body of the Tathagata.
To dignify the altar, the flowers used in the ceremony was grown by volunteers. They hope to share with participants the joy of this event. The ceremony is simple, but it demonstrates the humanistic beauty of Buddhism. Through the ceremony, residents honor the grace of the Buddha, their parents, and others. Moving to Tzuchi in Paraguay, Tzuchi volunteers are holding a Buddha Day ceremony at their newly built chapter house. Volunteers thoughtfully set up the altar under the coconut tree so the residents can also give their blessings to others around them. To make everyone understand the purpose of the ceremony, volunteers explain it in both Mandarin and Spanish. Taiwan's ambassador in Paraguay, Liu Deli, also attends the ceremony with his wife. This year, most of the Buddha Day participants are local residents. Despite the language barrier, through the ceremony, the residents gain inner peace.
In South Africa, Tzuchi's Buddha Day ceremony was held in Johannesburg and Durban. In Durban, one ceremony was held for local residents, while the other one was held in the Chinese community of the city. Volunteers from Zimbabwe joined the event in Johannesburg, hoping to hold an event back in their country the next year.
Though most of the native Tzuchi volunteers in South Africa are Christian, they still reverently participate in the Buddha Day ceremony.
Happy Mother's Day, Happy Tzuchi Day to our Master Chen Yen, Kan En. Happy everybody in Taiwan. We had a nice time to Buddha's Day today. We enjoy it. We're so happy.
The ceremony in Johannesburg is also attended by officials from Taiwan's consulate. Crossing some 1,500 kilometers, volunteers from Zimbabwe hope to learn more about the ceremony.
There are a few Chinese people in Zimbabwe, but I have many native volunteers. I brought 3 of them with me to help them understand what the Buddha Day ceremony is. We hope to hold our own event next year.
Over in Durban, local volunteers joined a Buddha Day ceremony in their own way.
Back in your community to purify others, purify entire community, until our world free of disaster.
Through action, over 300 native volunteers demonstrate that love is universal. Over at the Chinese community, another Buddha Day ceremony is taking place. With more native volunteers than Asians present, it is easy to see how native volunteers are becoming an integral part of Tzuchi's work in South Africa.
The next report takes us to Europe. Far away in France and the United Kingdom, Tzuchi volunteers did not forget to hold a Buddha Day ceremony for residents. In France, over 100 people attended the event. In Paris, while in the UK, volunteers put together a miniature version of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude towards parents to help participants get in touch with their feelings for their parents.
At Tzuchi's Buddha Day ceremony in London, both Chinese and local residents participate, hoping to learn more about the Buddhist charity organization.
I'm not a Buddhist myself, but I share the feelings, the emotions.
Though participants may not be Buddhist or understand Chinese, the love they felt in their hearts was real. In In the final act, the family embraces in tears, though acting the tears are real.
I never told my parents I love you, so today I will make an exemption. Dad and Mom, I love you.
I think what touched me most was the young people. I thought they were very beautiful and I liked what they had to say.
Meanwhile, over in France, the Tzuchi office in Paris also held a Buddha Day ceremony. Over 100 people attend the event to learn more about Tzuchi and also honor their mothers. Participants also have a chance to donate their saved-up bamboo banks so that they may share their love with those in need.
Back to Malaysia, at the Buddha Day ceremony in Batu Pahat, Tzuchi volunteers seized the opportunity to encourage participants to take on a meatless diet. On the day, 6 vegetarian restaurant owners provided 1,300 free lunch boxes, and volunteers also promoted the idea of eating 80% full and leaving the remaining 20% to help others. On the day of the Buddha Day ceremony in Malaysia's Batu Pahat, 6 kind-hearted vegetarian restaurant owners helped provide 1,300 lunch boxes for participants.
Many volunteers are giving selflessly around the globe, so I will support this organization.
Volunteer Zhou Baozhu also arrives to give a helping hand.
We're giving $50 and can form good affinities with many people through this $50.
At the ceremony site, Tzuchis are helping pack rice and vegetables into the lunch boxes provided by the participants themselves and then place them on chairs according to seat numbers.
We kill less animals and are more environmentally friendly. If we eat one less piece of meat, we might kill one less pig in a year.
I have already started the meatless diet.
Volunteers also seize the opportunity to promote the ideal of eating 80% full and leave the remaining 20% to help others.
We save the 20% to help those in need, so it is a great idea, and I think not eating too full is quite healthy for us too.
The Buddha Day ceremony helps cleanse our minds, and a meatless diet is healthy for the body. At the end of today's program, we joined Tzuchi volunteers in Kaohsiung's Hunei district at the local Buddha Day ceremony. Staff from Taiwan's Coast Guard Administration Inspection Office, as well as police officers, all arrived to participate in the annual Tzuchi Tri-celebration. Many participants were deeply moved by the solemn ceremony and all prayed sincerely for peace and harmony. That's all the time we have for. Thank you for joining us. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.